We can avoid lots of errors in this worksheet by using a feature called data validation to make sure that the data in column A, as the descriptor below it says, must be exactly 6 characters long for each entry. And in column B, you see the description there for the salaries, and in column C. Limitations. We do this by way of data validation, perhaps the strongest tool in Excel to control what goes into a worksheet. Most often you'll be using an entire column, particularly if you envision a list that's going to grow and grow and grow. We want every cell in column A to have the same validation rule. So let's select column A, and data validation is found on the Data tab in the ribbon in the Data Tools group. And depending upon your display, you might see the phrase data validation. You might see a larger icon, but here it is right here. Pick from a list of rules to limit the type of data. Hit the button, data validation settings, allow, click the drop arrow, in this case, a text length rule. It could be between a certain range of lengths, but in this case, equal to. The length is 6 characters. Click OK. I type in an entry here. Looks just fine. Here's another one. That's not fine. We get the message. Retry puts us in edit mode. Cancel simply wipes out the entry. I'll click retry here and put in the final 2 characters. You get the idea. That works with text, with numbers, or any combination thereof. Column B, same general idea, but of course a different range here, different kind of entry. Column B, we're here not concerned with the length of it, but the actual value. So back to data validation, allow, in this case, whole number or decimal, whatever seems appropriate. Whole number is going to work here for yearly salary. And we've got a minimum here and a maximum. Some cases will have everything less than or everything greater than a certain level, but let's choose the between here. Minimum is 30,000 and the maximum 140,000. So an entry too small, we get our message. And if it's too large, same idea. We also can provide what's called an input message. And I'll do this on this entry here for column C, a date range. Now, what I could do is copy this. I could have done this with the others, but we'll use it on this one. Highlight this, press Control C, or we could just type this in later, but I'm copying it to make it simpler and faster. Select column C, back to data validation. And here we want to allow date. The word require seems to actually would have been a better choice instead of allow, but you get the idea here. Between starting date 1/1/16 and the ending date 12/31/19. These are inclusive dates. Now we can also provide, as I alluded to, a message for each cell. It's called an input message. We can put it right here. I'll just paste in what I copied from above. You can give it a little heading like caution, reminder, warning, that sort of thing. And click OK. So now we see this box. Ultimately, the headings that we see in row 1 don't truly need to be there, but it wouldn't hurt. But here we see them for each cell. We can also provide another kind of message too. Suppose the date's wrong here. You can customize this message as well. And again, not truly necessary, but it would reinforce why the entry is incorrect. So clicking column C again, going back to data validation, we can provide an error alert. This is what pops up. I'll use that same phrase as before that I copied and pasted. And again, people sometimes like to be funny or cute or whatever the term would be here, to put in the message up top, give it a different heading and that sort of thing. Not truly necessary. So next time there's a mistake here, you get that kind of a message. So the general idea, though, is I think you can see pretty clearly how these will work and will keep out lots of different bad data. Also with time, similar idea, and you could quickly figure out this one just by the very fact that when we choose the settings, just like date, we have an entry here for time. And here we want these between 10 a.m., 10:00, probably the best way to do that. That does mean 10 a.m. And the end time, we could either put in 2100 for 9 p.m. or simply type 9 space P. That's going to work too. So we'll put an entry here of 8:43. That's too early. That's going to fail. And we'll put an entry too late. That could be 2200. That's one kind of a late entry. And you could imagine other ways to do this too. But we've got control over the data in a variety of different ways using techniques available by way of data validation, one of Excel's most powerful tools for controlling what goes into a worksheet.